I was simply scrolling through my timeline on Twitter, not just looking for anything, just seeing what people were talking about. And I immediately stumbled upon this story that was posted by one of my followers on there, and the title alone blew me away. Like, I know I come across some crazy stories, or some crazy stories get sent to me, but no one has sent me this story. But by the time this video gets uploaded, I will not be surprised if one of my subscribers emails it to me. So in this picture, you see someone by the name of Paul Joseph Garcia. And I kid you not, this is what the title reads. Texas man drove with mangled corpse in passenger seat after running it over. So this man ran somebody over, killed them, and then took the body out of the street, mangled and all, which means this body was badly messed up after getting hit by this man, and put it in the passenger seat of his car, got back into the car and started to drive around with the corpse in the car with him. And this is coming out of Texas. And it's a reason why Lovely T calls Texas trifling. I have a feeling if she was still doing her news channel and she got a hold of this story, that's what she would have said. That second favorite state, trifling as Texas. And it would have been well deserved. I haven't even gotten into the story part of it yet. The title alone just made me like, it had me make one of those faces like you see in those memes. Like, what did I just read? Like, the title alone right there is already disturbing. Like, what would make someone do that? I mean, when you hit somebody, and it's an accident, logic will tell you to see if the person is okay and then call emergency, not to pick up the dead body off of the ground, put it in your car, and then drive off with it. But let me go ahead and let's see what else we find out about this rather disturbing story just based off of the title. A driver has been accused of drunkenly hitting a pedestrian with his vehicle in South Austin over the weekend, traveling at least a half a mile with the body before stopping at a beer garden. Austin police officers responded to the 10,000 block of Menchaca Road, just south of West Slaughter Lane. How fitting for a name, West Slaughter Lane, on Saturday at 10:36 p.m. Witnesses told officers they saw a 2014 white Ford Focus hit a person walking near Slaughter Lane and then drive south on Menchaca Road. The body of the pedestrian, who has not been identified, went through the Ford's windshield and was found in the passenger seat of the vehicle a half mile from where the crash happened. Okay. Now I got to retract something. So this person did not run this person over and their body was still in the street and they picked them up and put them in the car. This person hit this person so hard that they flew through the windshield through the passenger side and just kept on driving. Like, this person was drunk driving, so they didn't even know they hit anybody. They probably could have swore when you're drunk and you're impaired and you hit something, you don't know what you hit. You probably in the moment think you may have hit maybe a mailbox or maybe a cat or a dog or a trash can. You don't think that you've hit a person. That's how drunk this guy was. He did not know a whole person went through his windshield on the passenger side and just kept on going. The pedestrian had extreme traumatic injuries to the head and some body parts had been detached. Witnesses said the driver, who has been identified by police as 24-year-old Paul Joseph Garcia, calmly walked away from the vehicle after parking it south of where the pedestrian was hit. Garcia, police said, walked into the South Austin beer garden at 10,700 Menchaca Road barefoot and in a manner that caught the attention of the other patrons. I'm surprised he's even standing right here able to take his mugshot. Garcia was not served alcohol at the beer garden and officers detained him for further investigation. So this man was already drunk driving. He killed somebody and didn't even know it. And he's going to a place to get more beer. Oh, I can see his future already. He going to serve a lot of years behind bars. I can just imagine the laundry list of charges he's going to get. One of them, of course, being drunk, driving under the influence, speeding, hitting a pedestrian. That's probably vehicular manslaughter right there. And let me continue reading. Police conducted sobriety tests on Garcia and placed him under arrest for driving while intoxicated. Debris, including car parts and body parts, lined the road for half a mile where the pedestrian was hit. The evidence in the road, including the lack of brake marks, were consistent with a pedestrian being hit in the right lane of southbound Menchaca Road. So it sounds like to me that this person got hit on the opposite side of the street. The pedestrian was pushing a shopping cart in the road when the crash happened. The impact with the vehicle pushed the cart into a cluster of mailboxes with enough force to bend a 2-inch diameter galvanized steel post that supported mailboxes. That just gives you an idea of how fast this guy was driving. If the crash was so impactful that it flung a shopping cart all the way into a steel post and bent it. But of course, with the pedestrian flying through his windshield and body parts becoming detached. Like, could you imagine? It could have been body parts in this man's vehicle, and he was so drunk he didn't even realize that he probably had a finger sitting next to him. Or maybe an eyeball could have popped out. I don't know. I don't mean to be so graphic, but that just shows you the level of drunkenness this guy was at. And then was going to go get even more drunk at that beer garden. Witnesses reported seeing the Ford without headlights on and being driven recklessly at a high speed. Police said Garcia was charged with intoxication manslaughter because he was driving without regard for safety for others, including continuing to drive for 1/2 miles with a mangled corpse in the vehicle. Garcia is in the Travis County Correctional Complex and has been charged with intoxication manslaughter with a vehicle and accident involving injury. He has a combined bail amount of $110,000. He should not receive a bail at all. And because he got a bail, it should not have been nearly that low. Like, that is insane. This has to be one of the worst DUI stories I have ever done on my channel. Like, this guy drunk driving, no headlights on, so drunk he did not realize he hit anybody, hit this person so hard that their shopping cart flew into a steel post and bent it. The person went flying through his windshield on the passenger side, and he still kept driving for a 1/2 mile, body parts everywhere. And he goes to a beer garden with a mangled corpse still sticking out of his windshield. And they were probably, it looked to the point where it probably looked like a stunt car. And he tries to walk up into this beer garden barefoot and intoxicated. Like I said, you have to have intense levels of alcohol in your system for you to have done all of that and did not know that you did it. I'm sure whenever he became sober and he was told about what he was done, he was probably shocked as hell. But at the same time, he was very reckless and very irresponsible. Imagine your family having to hear that that the family of this person who got hit, having to hear their loved one died in that manner. Like, that is wild. Like, they said they found debris and body parts for 1/2 mile. Like, imagine the cleanup behind that. Like, the emergency crews, I'm sure they had to shut down that road for hours to clean all of that up. Debris is one thing, but having to gather someone's body parts at the same time to take down to that morgue, I can't even imagine that in that capacity. But they need to throw the entire bookshelf at this man. Throw the whole library at him. Make an example out of this individual. And I want to know from anybody my Texas subscribers, did y'all hear about this story? Because this is this is a wild story here. It really is. This is probably one of the worst DUI cases or stories you will probably ever hear. I'm sure there are others, but this one right here takes the cake from you as of right now. There's still a lot of more time when, still a lot of cases where you'll have people who are getting drunk behind the wheel of a car and committing all of these crimes and whatnot. But you want to know what's so crazy? I already know he going to do time, but you know who did something like this a few years ago? Ethan Couch, aka Affluenza Boy. His was pretty much like the same textbook type of thing, but we know why he got a slap on the wrist. I don't think the same thing is even going to remotely happen to this guy. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure you follow me on Twitter if you haven't done so already. Have your notifications turned on, and I will talk to you in the next one.